Hi, fellas. A quick overview of things we anticipate seeing tomorrow, which is actually 8/11/11. But today's date is 8/10/2011, and here's a quick overview of some things we're going to look at tomorrow with our defensive fronts. These are the basic fronts we're going to introduce tomorrow, something we call a 3-5, also a 33, a base 9, and a 339. And then we're going to have coverages we're going to call Alpha and Charlie. Alpha, which is cover 1, and Charlie, which is cover 3. And we're going to have line calls like angle left and angle right, a jet call, pinch call, and then also linebacker blitzes, which we're going to call Bob and Bib. So let's see what we got. This will be our base front tomorrow, boys. We're going to go ahead and play 2-5 techniques. See one here and one here. Also going to have a nose player who is a zero technique. He lines head up on the center. They're all in three-point stances. And then we have 5 linebackers, a Joker, a Will, a Mike, a Sam, and a Bear. They have different responsibilities. Primarily, these players are a little bigger and thicker, play run. These guys have to be able to play in space. The Bear and the Joker, they're more sometimes containment and pass defense. And then, of course, we have a corner on either side, and then a free safety who are pass first. So keep that in mind. This is a base 3-5 defense. We'll probably just call it base in that we're going to think this is our base front. We can also take our 5s and make them 3s, and you can see this is a 3 technique, and that's a 3 technique. So here we have 2 3 techniques, a 0 technique on the nose and the Mike backer. Again, the Will, the Mike, and the Sam, the Joker and Bear are out in the flat, and then the corner, the freeze, and the corner behind. Here's a base 9 front. If we say base 9, we want to see 2 5s, as you see a 5 technique here and a 5 technique there. That's a 0 technique, and then this is a 9 technique. When you hear the 9, that tells the Bear to come up and play that outside shade and be a 9 technique. Everything else is the same as base, except base 9 indicates that the Bear now will come play 9 technique. We can also take the 33 front, in which case, we have a 3 technique here, 3 technique there. This is the nose, which is a 0. And we bring the Bear up and put him in the 9 technique here. So if we say 33-9 or 339, well, it's our 33 front with the Bear and a 9. And again, everybody else plays their regular alignments that we've mentioned before. These are different zones we can look at in terms of pass defense. If this is the offense and this is the center and this is the quarterback, here's a swing area. 2 flat areas that the Bear and Joker are oftentimes responsible for. The out is the area outside the curl, outside the numbers. And then here we have 2 curls and 2 hooks. Something we call a high hole sometimes that our Mike backers can be expected to get underneath. And then we have third areas. When we play cover 3, we break the field into deep thirds. And if we play cover 2, then we break it into deep halves. So this is an overview of some zones that we might see. Let's look at cover alpha, which really is cover 1. Just by way of communicating with each other, we'll call it cover 1. We'll refer to it as alpha. So here's what alpha means. The corners have number 1. So this guy is locked up with that number 1 receiver. On this side, that's a number 1 receiver. The corners are locked man-to-man with that. The Bear and Joker have number 2. Here's the Bear who's playing the tight end, who's number 2. We'll talk later about how we're going to combo this bracket. We're going to kind of bracket the defense here in that these two will both play the number 2 receiver, and based on what he does, we'll adjust to it. But right now, let's just identify the Bear has this tight end who's number 2. And the Sam and Will both have number 3. In this case, there is no number 3 for the Will in this case, but over here, you see this guy right here. That's a number 3 receiver. That's who the Sam has. And then the Mike is what we call the hole player. He drops and he gets depth as he looks side to side, looking for crossing routes. And if someone tries to cross your face, we want the Mike to plant, engage, and reroute any crossing routes that might occur. The free safety is really the center fielder. His job is to backpedal and play pass first. He reads the quarterback and breaks when the quarterback makes his declaration as to where he's throwing the ball. So this cover alpha, which is really cover 1, should be thought of as a man-free situation in which we man up everything underneath. And again, the free safety cannot get beat deep and must be behind everything that crosses in front of him. Cover Charlie, cover 3 that we played this summer in camp, and we need to look at again. In this case, we know the corners read number 1 to number 2, outside in. This corner has this deep third of the field. He has that third, and this corner has that third. So if we took the top of the defense like this and broke it into thirds, it might look something like this. It's a cover 3 defense, meaning there's 3 deep across the secondary. Underneath, the Joker and the Bear are going to play flat to the out. They once upon reading the pass read by looking into the backfield or through the tight end, they then know that they've got to find number 1. And they are the flat player. The flat, here for the Bear and Joker out here. trying to get underneath the hitch or the curl and try to engage and bump when we see slant. The Will and the Sam have somewhat different responsibilities in that they read number 2, number 1. And as they look at number 2, and you can see the tight end right here, is a number 2 receiver. When the Sam reads through the guard and he gets high hat and a pass read going on here, then he puts his eyes on number 2. And if number 2 goes vertical like this, then we're going to lock on him. We're going to take him man-to-man straight up the field. We'll play him man-to-man. If number 2 goes out, then he's going to go ahead and sink to the hook to the curl and post a dig zone. His area is to get underneath anything that comes back through this way. So very importantly in this defense, let's go ahead and have the Sam and Will find number 2. If number 2 goes vertical, we're going to help out the people behind us by locking on him man-to-man. If he tries to cross inside, then you're going to try to bang him and reroute him, try to make him fight to get through you, knowing that you still have the mic inside of you. And again, if you don't have number 2, and this is number 2, if he stays in the backfield, then you're going to be this player who plays hook to curl and post a dig. Keeping in mind that a dig route is this route where the split receiver pushes up the field and comes across kind of like an in. You know, the out is the route away from the football, and the dig is the route that brings it inside towards the football. So when we play Charlie, the corner again is deep third, the free is middle third, and this corner is this outside third. So really it's 3 deep, 5 under man. It's only a 3-man rush unless we have a blitz on. We rush in 3, drop an 8. It should be a good pass defense for us when we want to. The only person I'm going to talk about is the Mike. The Mike, upon recognizing pass, needs to get a little depth. If there are no crossing routes, then he plays the high hole. The free will be deep. He should be somewhere in here, ready to react to the quarterback's motions and any incoming routes, again, like a curl or a dig. We can also angle our defensive lineman. If we say base angle left, and the TNT, as they know, tackle, nose, and tackle, will all step, dip, and rip to their left-hand side. It's an angle to the left. Here's a base angle right. So again, we're going to angle to the right with a step, a dip, and a rip, and actually what we should call fit too. So we're not just going to run up the field. It's not run through here, but it's get to the B gap. You start as a C gap player, this tackle does, in the angle right, and he becomes a B gap player. And once he's here, he's going to read this guard and anticipate what's going on in the backfield. He becomes an A gap player. He becomes a C gap player. Now our linebackers need to know that if the tackle becomes a B gap player, then we become C gap players over here. We're going to have to talk about that on the field tomorrow. We can also have what's called a jet call, in which case we're going to club and swim, occasionally rip. But now this is an upfield movement. This is an anticipation of pass. Instead of pressing and engaging this tackle, now we want to use a club, swim, get upfield, run the edge, bend your bodies, and pursue the quarterback. So that's a jet call. Jet call. A pinch call means the 2 5 tackles who are lined up here are going to dip and rip, and now you're a B gap player. For this tackle, it's the same as angle right, and for this tackle, it's the same as angle left. Dip, rip, and fit become B gap players. And again, linebackers need to know that if the 5 tackles, and this is a 5 technique, if he becomes a B gap player, you're now a C gap player, and he's a C gap player. And that's called a pinch call because we're bringing these 2 tackles inside. Angle left, we can do this out of 33, maybe not so much, but we could. We could just angle all 3 of these players to the left, in which case, now Sam is a B gap player, he's a C gap player, and provides a little disruption on short yardage situation. So that's 33 angle left. TNT, tackle, nose, and tackle, all angle left. Angle right, same thing, tackle, nose, and tackle, all angle with a step, dip, and rip technique to the right. The jet call, again, is an avoidance of the blocker, a club and swim, upfield rush to the quarterback, and again, we can do that from a 33 jet. And again, there's a 33 front. Let's look at 33 Bob and Bib. Linebackers, if we say Bob or we say Bib, Bob means both outside backers. So if we say a Bob blitz, this joker is going to come fast off the edge here. He's going to cheat up prior to snap, and he comes off the edge here. It's a blitz. That's a Bob blitz. It's a Bib blitz. Then the Sam and Will blow through their assigned gaps. You can see in this 33, he's a B gap player. He's this nose and the mic are playing the A's. The Will is really a C gap player. And if we say a Bib, this is an inside backer and he's an inside backer. The joker and the bear are the outside backers. If we give a Bib call, then we're going to ask him pre-snap to cheat up and blow it off the edge here. He's the B gap player. He's going to cheat up and blow the C gap, as we would in passing situations and everything else. So that's an overview of what we want to know tomorrow. Again, Bob means both outside backers. Bib means both inside backers. See you on the field.